Earlier today, the president made his case for why we need those tariffs on steel and aluminum.
Our country on trade has been ripped off by virtually every country in the world. We lost $800 billion a year on trade. Not going to happen. I don't think you're going to have a trade war now.
The problem is, from a free trade perspective, tariffs never really work. So why is the White House playing roulette with the economy? Former economic advisor to President Reagan and founder and chairman of Laffer Associates, Art Laffer, is back. Welcome back, Art.
Thank you very much, Kennedy. That was a great opening monologue. I loved it.
Thank you very much, Art. And, you know, I hope that people like you can talk the president out of these tariffs. I understand the impulse, but I think long-term it's the wrong one. What do you think?
Well, I think he's negotiating, to be honest with you. This man has said numbers of things that I haven't agreed with over the past, and every time it's proven that I've been wrong, not he. He negotiates positions, he deregulates, he gets the tax bill in place. I mean, he's done all of these wonderful things, and I never thought that that could happen the way he did it, but he did it. It did happen, and it was wonderful. And, of course, you're correct. I mean, tariffs are no answer to anything. Why should you deprive American consumers of high-quality products at low cost? But if he says that, Kennedy, if he says that, he can't negotiate with Canada or with Mexico on the rotten deal that is called NAFTA. I mean, that deal is a very, very bad deal for the United States and also, by the way, for Canada and Mexico. And it's really bad. But how can he negotiate if he tells us that he really isn't going to do it?
All right, so let's talk about that, because you're saying it could be an entree into fixing NAFTA. How do you fix NAFTA so you have more free trade, truly free trade, going in all directions?
Oh, if you've ever read NAFTA, it's full of all these bells, whistles, cannons, all this sort of nonsense garbage in there that is anything but free trade. It's like the TPPF, which I testified on a number of times. All these non-tariff barriers are in there to protect these other countries' industries. They don't protect them. All they do is make them fat and lazy and not very good at producing goods. Yeah. I mean, we had that problem with the color television industry when we tried to protect our color television industry, and all we did was cripple it so that no one produces color televisions in the U.S.
But we've tried steel protectionism in the past.
Under W, gosh, it was awful under W. We've done it under Reagan. I mean, Reagan did the anti-dumping provision against Japanese steel, and we've done it all the way through time. And look at our steel industry. I mean, steel industry needs tough competition to make them strong. You don't make an industry strong by coddling them. You make them strong by working out in the gym and getting better and doing tough things. The problem with the steel industry is they're located in Wisconsin, they're located in Michigan, they're located in Ohio, they're located in Illinois, all those high-tax socialist regulatory states. That's the problem.
All right, so, you know, I have no problem with moving the steel industry to Florida, Nevada, and Texas.
Tennessee, don't forget Tennessee.
That's true. And but, you know, again, I don't work in that industry. I don't live in those places. And we don't want to be short-sighted and insensitive. But, you know, when you talk about Chinese dumping steel, and that seems to be one of the biggest issues. Theresa May says you have to have a multilateral approach. So actors like China don't bombard the market with cheap, crappy steel. How do you do that?
Well, what you do is if someone wanted to get, let's imagine Japan wanted to give us all of their cars. They said they loved America so much, we'll give you every car we have free of charge. It's yours. It's a gift. I mean, would we want to nuke them for doing that? I mean, seriously, remember, the whole purpose of an economy, Kennedy, is to satisfy consumers, not producers. Yeah. If we can produce something twice as well with half the cost of labor, why not do it? It's not that we want more labor in there.
I agree with you, but you're making the argument that trade deficits aren't the end of the world.
No, they're the benefit of the world. Trade deficits are the opposite of capital surpluses. Which would you rather have, Kennedy? Capital lined up at our borders trying to get into our country or trying to get out of our country? It's obvious. The only way capital can flow into this country is if we have a trade deficit. How do foreigners generate the dollar cash flow to buy U.S.-located assets? The only way they do it is through a trade deficit. We had the biggest trade deficit ever under Reagan in the first 5 years, and look at the boom we created. Is that a problem now? Come on.
No. So we have to get off this fetishist talk that trade deficits are the siren that is, you know, the president is warning us that we're about to hit the rocks because we're not. It's a sign of economic health. Art, I agree with you very much, and thanks so much for coming back to the show. I appreciate it.
It is such a pleasure, but I still think he's just negotiating, and I hope that's the case, and I hope he wins in these negotiations.
All right, we shall see. I hope he wins.
Kennedy.
I hope the country wins. Thanks again.
The country, too, yes.
Amen.